Greetings, dear ones. Gong hei fat choi. That is Happy New Year, but it's actually more. It is wishing all good luck, prosperity, and well being in the Chinese New Year, which starts today, February 12th, 2021. And actually, this is well, the celebration goes on normally for 2 weeks from now, which is the new moon. For us, that was yesterday, February 11th, but for most of the world, that was already in the 12th. And the Chinese calendar goes by lunar month. It is not the Gregorian calendar. So I believe this is the year 2951, but I'm probably mistaken on that. The point is that this is a very powerful holiday, a very ancient holiday, not only for the Chinese, but for many other Oriental um, cultures. And it is celebrated with, of course, special foods. I grew up in San Francisco and the Bay Area, and when I was little, our home was actually on the border of Chinatown and Little Italy, and which made for a very interesting combination of energetics, but also the nearness. I was actually enrolled in Chinese school when I was young, and unfortunately, do not remember much of the learning of the language. I wish I had continued to be able to speak either Mandarin or Cantonese, but that didn't happen. So the energies of Chinatown at that point in time were beautiful, and it was a very special and, for me as a child, magical place. The parade, the Chinese New Year's parade, was always something to see and feel, and to this day remember the not only the sights and the sounds, but the smells walking around Chinatown, the incredible spices and exotic smells of food items. Um, so we're here at this point in time. This is the year of the ox, which is a very significant animal for most of the world. It was one of the first domesticated animals and lends itself to, or lent itself and still does to, the very, very important aspects of agriculture and farming. And I'm just checking my notes. It is also, of course, therefore known as a hard worker. It also symbolizes honesty. And interestingly enough, the Chinese calendar is a 12-year calendar, their zodiac rather. And this is the second year of the 12 years. Now, ox, according to legend, was supposed to be the first animal because of its importance and significance, but rat tricked it, asked for a ride to the festival, and just as they were arriving, jumped off the ox's back and presented itself and became the first animal to arrive. So last year was the year of the rat. Do we know of any trickery? Do we see any trickery going on, whether or deception? Whether it's on the political stage or in your community or in yourself. How are we each tricking ourselves? Very interestingly, a lot of the sessions recently have been the struggle between the anger towards a particular parent. And again, this is all young, very, very early stages, when just primal emotional energy comes forth in response to being scared or hurt or in fear. And that struggle between the pure, true, authentic anger towards a parent, and at the same time the need or the wanting to protect their the perspective of them, protect their good name, protect their um, the distorted view of what happened, so as to not feel that anger. So there's another split in there that we're all given the opportunity to explore right now, because we are also in a point of choice, astrologically, that is, according to tropical astrology. Yesterday was a new moon, very, very powerful new moon in Aquarius. And as we've talked about before, we are in the age of Aquarius, a new age. For thousands of years, we've been in the Piscean age, which has certain characteristics and qualities. And now, in this new age, an age of awakening, an age of transformation, an age of evolution of the human species, and therefore the planet as a whole, as we interact and interconnect with um, aspects of nature and cycles and seasons. So this choice point um, is very much, what was seen in the 1960s, in that belief that we were moving into the age of Aquarius. And again, being in San Francisco and Berkeley in the midst of all of the movement, the New Age movement, if you will, or the 60s movement, there was a great, you know, um, idea of the ideal society, and, a new vision or dream for our world and our planet, aligning with a lot of the ancient and indigenous traditions, relationship with one another, relationship with the earth, relationship with nature and the seasons and cycles. So that movement began, that idea began. Um, we've had a pause point, if you want to look at it like that, or maybe there needed to be, as is often the case when clients express, where they had moments in their lives where they felt more aligned with who they are and expressing their essence, and then without knowing or without realizing, so kind of backtracking into the same old patterns that were imprinted from a very early age. So it's almost as if we have a taste of what could be, individually and in reference to the 60s, a taste of what could be, where love does prevail, where we are caring for and looking out for one another, where we are interrelated to nature and the earth, and the respect and valuing and back and forth um, that does go on, but that we have become um, unconscious to, or numb to, or unfeeling to. Um, Beautiful, beautiful, wise being by the name of Mary Bell writes that we are in a decision making process right now, of based in astrology, of this push pull between the old and the new, the safe and the scary, the familiar and the unknown. And this attempt to birth something new, um, that we are going through as a collective and that many are experiencing on in their individual lives is very, very apparent. And again, we're coming from, um, or still in the energy of and the wave of the solstice and the grand conjunction that occurred at that point, which many say is the birthing of that new age, the actual birthing. For me, it was symbolizing more the inception or conception or actual coming together of the parts that are needed to be able to give birth. And, we're moving in now. One of the things that the Chinese New Year celebrates is it's a spring festival. It's literally called the Spring Festival. And less than 2 weeks ago, uh, we were reminded, and I spoke of, and the Celtic celebration of Imbolc, which is the lambing, or when newborn lambs come forth, and when the earth is just beginning to burst, just a tiny bit burst forth. And so, it is representative of the constant fertility and birthing and appetite for that birthing, for that rebirthing for us. So that fertility is very, very strong right now. And it's also known as the quickening. So if we had in December with the solstice energies and the conjunction, the kind of conception, and now through the quickening, and with Chinese New Year, the spring festival, things bursting forth again, blossoming, growth, fertility, as well as Sunday being here in the United States and many countries, St. Valentine's Day. And Saint Valentine, according to legend, was a martyr. They still have not identified whether he was a bishop in one area or whether he was a man imprisoned in Rome. But primarily, this was an attempt, an accomplishment of the Catholic Church at the time, attempting to suppress Lupercalia, which was celebrated in Rome and was a festival of fertility, was an honoring of Faunus, the god Faunus, and the gods Romulus and Remus, who were the founders of Rome. And there was great ceremony around that. There was sacrificing of animals for two different purposes. I believe it was sheep and a dog, representing purification and that fertility. And there was a ritual of allowing the skin of the animal, the goat or the sheep, with its blood on it to touch on people, particularly women, so that they would have fertility strengthened, and it was thought to be of good fortune if you were close enough to the ceremony in Rome to be able to participate in that. This was put down approximately in the 5th century, and the idea of a more romantic love, again, mates, and according to the Roman Catholic Church, that was specifically men and women for procreation. So it left a lot of other forms of love eliminated, which thankfully we are moving back towards. Um, it was also symbolic of the coming of spring, of course. And the other god that was celebrated at that time was the god named Eros. And again, that's kind of gotten a little bit away from its original idea of just the energy of the sexual energy and growth and fertility and birthing into um, simply sexual meaning. And it was supposed to be the personification of love. And Jung mentions it, of course, so much in his work. And he says that that love thrives, I'm quoting, only when spirit and instinct are in right harmony. And that's really what is being called for each of us at this point in time in order to make that choice of whether we are going to stay in the old or birth forth something completely new, whether it's in our careers, our relationships, our physical body, our communities, our nation. Um, we are looking at some major adjustments to, or potential major adjustments to the structure of our country, the rule of law, and whether and where that's going to lead us. And interestingly enough, as of about a week ago, universal spiritual law has been very, very prominent, very, very significant for that too is going through a rebirth or a readjustment. What has been allowed, let's say, according to spiritual law in the universe, um, has to always be evolved and changed, or we are simply going back and forth between two opposites, two opposing forces, or rather two aspects one um, of the one, and that is for exploratory purposes. This is a polarized universe, universal separation. That's what its purpose is. That's what the exploration is about. But when you're simply, going back and forth in and around the same level, there is no growth, there's no expansion, there's no learning, there's no becoming more. So at certain points in time, the universe has been through evolutionary processes. It's going through one right now, as are all of the galaxies, our supercluster of galaxies, our planet itself, and us as humans. So this is an immense process of evolution. And law, universal spiritual law, plays a significant part in that. And as we are going through this evolution, universal spiritual law too is changing. So it is very interesting that we're right at the epicenter of all of that. And we as a country, the United States, and other countries, there are protests, there are rebellions, if you will, there are radical changes in many, many countries. Um, Again, that growth is that fertility right now, that springing forth, the birthing of something new is very, very strong. What else did I want to mention? I think just the only other strong point are the animals that have been coming forth. Sheep, of course, has been here. I was mentioning it as I've been speaking, but as an animal and its symbology, um, it's also been very, very strong the past 10 days or so. And symbolically, it represents fearfulness and fierce respect for authority and the conforming nature, um, obedience, loyalty, devotion. How much of you is following along with old patterns? How much of your life is set in fearfulness and um, following an outer authority rather than an internal authority? These are all the energetics that are here for us at this point in time in this huge container or crucible, and the combination of those energetics allows for an alchemical transformation to take place within us, within our world. So you have the opportunity to be able to receive all of that mix. This is a grand soup, and there must be included in that container all of what is deemed positive as well as all that is deemed negative, because that's the sparking, that's the tinder, that's the um, what's needed to create. If we are only wanting to experience the positive and just feel those energies, it can cause great harm. Um, just as Jung said, we must combine spirit and instinct. And our instincts, our pure instincts, are for growth and cooperation and being in community and communication. It is the distortions of those natural instincts that we experience individually and have been exploring and experiencing throughout the previous age of the age of Pisces, the Piscean age. Nothing wrong with that. It was our choice, our design, but there isn't that much more to be gleaned from that level of separation and that structural form that I've spoken about so often, that pyramidal form where, those that hold the power and the resources attempt to maintain that power and control through the dismissal, the oppression, negation of the masses and their rights and freedoms. So this is a very transpersonal process. Transpersonal meaning that whatever you're experiencing, it is also being reflected on larger stages, whether in your community, your nation, the planet, the globe, and or what is going on out there is also a reflection of what is going on inside, or what can be explored and known and worked with, transformed, transmuted in order to come back to that pure sense of eros or love. So without further ado, I am going to invite everyone to get comfortable. Normally, I suggest starting out with you being seated on your sits bones and allowing your shoulder blades to just slide down and come together a little bit, which allows you to sit in a comfortable position and not have to hold anywhere. It also has a tendency to open up your diaphragm, allowing for the breath, your breath, to move at your pace and your rate. So without forcing it, without making it do anything, but simply allowing. If you feel more comfortable lying down, you're perfectly welcome to do so. I just invite you to not lose yourself, especially initially, and go out through either your third eye or any other avenues that you're familiar with, because that's a very different experience than what I'm inviting you to do as far as experiencing yourself, your inner world, your inner verse, which is an entirely different experience. The potential to actually travel or shapeshift comes when you are safely and securely in your own vessel, your own vehicle, deeply and profoundly connected to your body, your energy field, your wider self, which is your soul self, your guides, teachers, masters, angels, if you will. So simply allowing those. We have a lot of energies here, a lot of very powerful energies, a lot of very powerful energetic forms and concepts and very, very powerful symbols. We have man's natural tendency to connect with and follow the seasons and cycles of the earth from very ancient times, long before the ones that I've mentioned. But certainly the Chinese culture and in and around the Mediterranean, ancient Greek, and other very, very ancient cultures who read and listened and were intimately interconnected with the earth, the cycles, the seasons, the rhythms, observing, listening, connected to the animals, the plants, the climate or the weather. Allow the ancient knowledge within you, for it is there through your body, through the DNA, for those who believe in reincarnation. It is knowledge that you have accumulated and gleaned through many, many lifetimes, still held within your system, within your energy field. Allow that knowledge to lead you and guide you to your rhythms, your cycles. This beautiful container that has been created and formed in a unique configuration for this time and place. Given the multiple energies, helpers, factors of this planet, the cosmos, as we have the astrological influences based in very ancient observation of the planets, stars, astronomy, allow yourself to sink even more deeply down and into you, your internal world. Little by little, allowing the outer world to just be what it is at the moment. For you are safely and securely situated within this sacred geometric configuration, enabling you to receive, take in, align with, learn from, experience the exact right combination, blending, and interfacing of this current collective theme of fertility, springing forth, and even though that may be deeply hidden or buried under winter snows and temperatures, encouraging us to stay inside and go within. And yet you may receive little glimmers, little blossoms, sprouting ideas, desires to express the unique essence of you. Allow yourself to feel any stirrings or activity within, any energy moving within, without work, without effort, without intention, without focus or purpose or goal. Simply allowing the ancient wisdom within your own body, your own energy field, your wider self, all your many personal helpers, along with those that are here currently. The animal teacher of oxen, sheep, birds, which have been viewed as those that give birth first. In the season and the cycle of springtime, which we're just initiating. And wherever you are in your process of gestation, whether still very pregnant with possibilities, or feeling the quickening of life expressed through you, and the desire for newness, the excitement of jumping into the unknown adventure. And again, the fertility, prosperity, abundance, all that is here in the mix for you, for your system to join with, partner with, receive from. How are you experiencing and expressing the personification of love, Eros? First and foremost, in your relationship with self, what parts of you are following outer authority and negating or ignoring your inner knowing? The internal call forth for you to birth more fully, completely, wholly. What must be sacrificed? What must you gift to yourself? What can you connect to, partner with, mate with, for that conception or birthing? For it is in that knowing and love and fuller expression of you through the inspiration, vision, and dream of you. That ushers in this new age, this age of Aquarius, where the species itself can rebirth, evolving from the more primitive and primal aspects of human nature. Deepen into the reception of these energetics that will continue to nurture and nourish and feed your process of becoming more of who you authentically are. Allow, allow, allow. No effort, no work. Simply experiencing you at this point in time. All the guidance and help that is here. Trust that exactly what you need, want, and desire has been met and will continue to guide and assist and reveal the steps, the choices, the opportunities that are just right and ideal for you. Allow yourself to be fertile ground, and as these energetics incorporate in and through your energy field, your body, integrating interweaving with you, within you, allowing your body and energy field to very, very gently guide you, lead you from a somewhat more non-physical experience that you may have had back to a more physical state, without push, without forcing, without making it happen. For this is a very organic process. When you simply follow your energy field and your body's guidance, under the direction of your wider self, all of which knows exactly the right way, the right place, the right form, the right rhythm, for you. And if you prefer to stay in this state, you're perfectly welcome to do so, knowing that whenever you decide to return to a more 3D reality, you will be perfectly consolidated and everything is incorporated within you. I will be posting this on YouTube, and if you're on my email list, you will be receiving an intro and a link. And if you're not on my email list, please contact me at Andrea@healersuniverse.com to be placed on the list, and or if you feel called to that transformation, that rebirth, that growth, and would benefit from some personal work in what may be impeding you, I am offering for this month 90-minute sessions, a very large discount. So if that will help guide you and assist you into your rebirth, please contact me. Again, Andrea@healersuniverse.com, or here on Facebook. And in the meantime, I wish you Gonghe Fat Choi, much prosperity, much good fortune in the year that lies ahead, and very, very happy Valentine's Day. There might be another live on Sunday, so please keep your eyes out. And as always, it is with the greatest honor, gratitude, and love for your presence here on the planet. Be well in all ways.